So Pete doesn't live DeWalt solely, does he? He's cheating, he's got a Makita. So this is for the sun tunnel. It basically provides daylight into areas where there is none like that. Getting all these units in and set up. So in here we have Joe. Morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Hello. All right, mate. So this wall is going to be elements board on here because it's going to be completely tiled. We've got the bath going in there, so obviously it'll only be tiled down to a point, but we're going to put elements board on that wall and on this wall because that's where the tiles are going to go. They're going to come out to 850, which is about here. It's like an L-shaped bath going in. So Joe's just getting this wall levelled up now with battens, and then we can get the elements board on there. This wall is being double boarded. We've got to get over these blocks here, so we need to make sure that we've got enough depth. We obviously put this skin on here, and then we'll sail over with another skin of fireboard, which will go over the top, obviously encapsulate the steel. We have put underneath it as well here, so it'll be fully encapsulated when we sail the board over that. We've also got a bit of patchwork to do in here. We've got to box this vent pipe in and also get some sill boards on, and then it'll be ready to go. So I'm going to go downstairs and start to machine up these sill boards. Next up, I'm going to make up the sill boards for the bathroom. We've got a bit of sill board. That is wide enough. I can use this. I'm going to need to chop down the width because I need 190 overall, and we do actually have 214. So I'm going to just get the table saw now, get this trimmed down, get this rebate done on the back so this sits nicely into the window, and then we can get this fitted. Right, so I've got my sill board cut. I've got the correct width that I need. So I need 190mm overall from the back, well, from the window frame to the face of the nose in. So that is done. But what I've done is I've cut off this rebate. So what this rebate does is actually sits against the window frame. So this piece here will sit into the window frame and basically stops the sill board from going down, from warping or anything like that. You fit it tight into the frame, into the little rebate, and then that just holds everything nice and steady. So I need to replicate that now on here, on this back edge. So I've just been up and measured the window and actually need 10mm left. So I need 10mm of this left on, and the rest of it needs to come out. So I'm going to need to trim out a section like that, and then leave 10mm on here, and then get rid of all this bit across here. And then when I push the sill against the window, fix it down, it will hold everything nice and steady into the frame. So that is what I'm going to do now. Use my router with this rebate bit in, just get it set up to 10mm, and then just simply run that across. It will go a bit deeper than this line. It will just go up to the bearing and just allow it to do that. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. It just makes my life easier. I haven't got a set of guard up or anything like that, a little rail to run across. I'll just use the bearing, chop that straight out, job done. I need to leave 10mm on here. My line wasn't actually that bad, it's pretty good. 10mm is there, so we need to leave that much on. I know then when I run this across, it's just going to take out a nice chunk that I need and leave in my 10mm rebate on here, so it will sit nicely against my window. Cool, let's do it. Okay, so my rebate is now done. That's chopped in nicely, and then I've given myself a little bit of extra thickness just here. The reason I've done that is just to make sure it's a nice tight fit in the rebate in the window, so I can just basically chamfer this edge off slightly if I need to. So next up, I need to get an accurate measurement from upstairs, see exactly how wide, how long I need this sill board to be, get these chopped up, and then start getting the horns fabricated. Okay, right, my horns are now cut. What you'll notice is there's actually only a small amount of horn past the sill. The reason for this is our reveal, if you imagine this is plasterboard, obviously it's not, but our reveal will sit like so to here. So it just basically gives the plasterer something to bring the board down to and then skim to. So this bit here, a certain percentage of this, probably about 20mm or so, will actually be hidden by the plasterboard and the plaster. It just makes life a lot easier for fitting. Obviously trim this back because you've got the wall there, and then it just allows everything to work nicely afterwards. So I've got my round pot on here. I'm just going to sand this in now, make this all nice and smooth. Next up, we're going to get this sill board fitted in place. So you can see now what I meant about the little recess part. So we've got this little lip here, which is basically the sill on the outside of the window, and the frame here. And then my little rebate that we made downstairs. That is going to sit just in there like that. So that basically wedges that edge there. It's nice and snug. So all I need to do is lever it up this way, and then I know I'm good to go. I've got myself some packers cut. I'm going to get these under, I'll get this drilled, get some fixings through, and then that one is ready then. And then I'll just repeat the same over there. So that's it, this sill is in. You can see that I've got it all fixed down, and then I've plugged the holes individually. So then once this is painted over, there's no filler or anything like that in there, and this will look lovely. We've got all the elements board on. There's just a little bit that needs fixing in down there, and that is ready. We've just got to obviously get our fireboard up there now, but this has got our double skin on. An extra bit just up there so that the fireboard will fix in there and then be dabbed over this. So that is all good. Sill boards are in. Peter's done the boxing in as well for this, the vent, the soil vent up there. So we're ready. Tomorrow we're going to come in. Plaster's not coming down until next week, unfortunately, because he's been let down by somebody. So we are going to get a bit of the prep work done for him. And then basically, yeah, he'll be in next week. That's it, it's Friday. We've tied it up and we're going home. Good morning guys, and welcome back to another week on site. First of all, I'm getting these doors fitted on here at the minute. So I've got this one swung. Here we go upstairs and see the plasterers. So this will all be skimmed out today, apart from this wall and this wall, because Greg's coming in tomorrow to tile. You can see I've got the tanking on. We've just got to do this internal corner here. So once that's dabbed on there, I can get this internal corner tanked in. But Potts is going to get all this sorted out today, so it'll be ready to rock and roll. Pete and Joe are just downstairs. Let's go down and see what they're doing. They are just on the thicknesser, and we're getting some slamming strips ripped down for our door casement. So Pete's got all the legs cut. So yeah, I've got our thicknesser set up there. I'm just going to basically reduce these down now to 13mm. Because they're a bit too chunky as they are like that. So yeah, they're going to get that done. I'm going to get these doors swung. Potts is on the bathroom getting that done. So we'll get some time lapses up and you can watch us working through the day. So we all know how Pete likes a little jig, and he comes up with these ingenious inventions. Obviously that sort of jig. So Pete has just asked me out to show me something. Show us, Pete.
Well, basically, as you saw from the earlier time lapse, I've been machining up these slamming strips. Because I've run them through the planer, we've obviously got a load of pitch marks and what have you, a few little rake marks. Unfortunately, the blade's taken a bit of damage, but you know, no big deal, just got to sand it out. So, to make things a little bit easy for myself, what I've done, taken a couple of offcuts, jigsawed them out into the shape of a miniature table tennis racket, made it off centre. So as you pull it inwards, obviously the distance between there and there increases, which turns it into a clamp. And the best thing is, because I've made it out of offcuts of the same thickness of material, we can just sand over it, it's not going to affect it.
You're good, ain't you, Pete?
Yeah, I'm shit up, man. I mean, I'm yeah. Take
yes.
two. Yeah, I'm good, ain't I?
No, it's awesome, mate.
Good,
so like you say, it saves having big clamps on it, doesn't it?
Well,
whatever you got to move, and because it's the same
all,
thickness, you can just go straight over it.
The only main reason I like it, because it's all rounded, you don't get no damage.
Yeah, it's not damaging the edge of the board.
Also, once you've made them, you can keep them, and if you've got different thicknesses or widths of stuff, it's just a case of taking one screw out and relocating it. So yeah.
Nice one, Pete. Legend. Right, so the doors are now swung. They are both in here. Let's get them closed and show you. Both fit nicely. Good margins all the way around. Perfect. They are looking nice. So now we've got to get the furniture on them. I've also got a flush latch to fit here as well, because obviously we don't want both doors to be swinging open simultaneously. So we're going to basically leave one door that will stay in situ, that will have the keeper in, the strike plate, sorry. Is it a keeper? Is it a strike plate? There's so many different terminologies that so many different people use. I'm sure you will let me know in the comments which one it is. And then we'll obviously put the latch in this door. Right then guys, next up, I am just getting under here now. And the little hole under the stairs. Basically what I'm going to do is latex this little area under here in preparation for obviously the parquet flooring, which is here, to carry through. We are going to put a stud in the centre of here, obviously just to support this little half landing here. After this has been latexed, and then we can get that plasterboarded, get all this skirted as well, and then there's just going to be a little area for basically shoes underneath here. And then the parquet, once this is ready to be done, will just sail underneath here. So I've got to make sure my levels are right with this so that the parquet can just sail through and obviously go underneath here, because that will be underneath the tread here. Right, next up we're on the landing and we're going to get this hole cut. So this is for the sun tunnel. It basically provides daylight into areas where there is none like that. So you've seen Will getting this installed from the outside. Basically it's just an area of glass like that out there, with this ducting, foil ducting attached to it, and then we'll basically cut the hole, which is here, cut that out, and then there's a trim which goes in, and then there's an opaque piece of plastic there which basically diffuses the light through into the area below, because obviously you don't want to be seeing that from downstairs, so all you'll see is just the light basically. Also this is a vent as well, I might have mentioned before. So the bathroom is over there, and obviously you need an extractor in that, so the pipe will come from there around here and then straight up, and it comes basically where those slots are either side, it vents out through there. So these pieces here will attach to the back, and then this piece here will attach up to that, and then our ducting will go straight into it. It's a really good thing from Velux, this is. I'm really impressed with this. So it provides obviously light into the house, and it provides ventilation as well, but it just means you've got to do less damage to your roof, well, not damage, but less intrusive work to your roof, to make sure that you can get obviously light and ventilation, which is cool. I've marked my hole on the ceiling, got the nice 420 circle up there, that's the diameter of it. We'll just cut this out and then we can just slot everything in. There's like a membrane bit which has to go around it, and then we pull the tube through. There's all sorts of bits, but we're going to film it. Now that we've successfully cut out the hole, you can now see the opening. So what I've done is like a membrane which fits to the back of the window, which has been fed through. You can see that up there. And then we've now just got to fix this basically using these clamps here. There's some screws here which you just basically screw up, and some clamps on the back which then pin this tight against the ceiling. And once that's in, then we'll feed the ducting through, use a little band that's inside to clamp it, and I'll show you what we do with that as well, get that all in. So yeah, that's it, just get these tightened up now and we're good to go. Right, so I'm back up in the loft and you can see basically the aerial view now. This is our membrane which goes around here. So what we're going to do now is drop this duct in through the hole, and then there's this band here which basically clamps it in place. So I'm going to pop that through now. What they say is basically you need to cut off between 50 and 100 mil excess back down there. This obviously needs to sit nice and straight like that. So I'm just going to pop down, pull this back through, and then we can get it exactly where we need it to be. Right, that's it, it is in. It's nice and easy to install, as you've just seen. So it's just a case of literally trimming everything off, then taping it up, and then just literally sitting that lens over, this opaque lens, just sitting that in, twisting it around, and then that's locked in nicely, and it gives a nice amount of light into this landing area where there's obviously no windows around or anything like that, so it's good. we're happy with that. So what I'm going to do now is go up the ladder and get this cowl installed. So this one is pretty straightforward, like I mentioned. These two bits here just basically sit in there like that, and then this cowl here obviously fits in the back of these, and then that's it. Once we've got our extractor sorted over there in the bathroom, it will just be tracked around here. There's going to be an inline fan, so obviously because it's quite a distance, there's going to be a couple of bends to get to that. We need to make sure there's enough power to draw enough air out of the bathroom and up and through this vent. So let's get on with this bit now. And that's it, easy as that. That is all fitted nicely. It did go in pretty easy, just needed two hands to basically get in there. There's just a little retaining screw underneath there. You just have to bend the tab over on this edge, fold that over, and then it just screws straight in, fixes that in nicely. There's a rubber seal in there as well, which obviously keeps everything nice and airtight, because the last thing you want it to do is be pumping straight back into your loft. Obviously it's got to go out through that hole and out the roof. Easy installation, another good product from Velux, we like those. Good morning guys, it is Monday and the client has had a busy weekend getting all these units in and set up. So we've got all our units across here. There's going to be a hob over there, the sink is going to be here, and then there'll be two large units here which will house the fridge, freezer and the ovens, and then there's going to be a bin section behind there, this unit, then a dishwasher, and then another unit. Then there'll be a worktop which comes across here and then is dressed down the side of that unit, and then there's going to be a breakfast bar which will sit across the back here with some chairs underneath and some lovely panelling on the back of that as well. We are getting on with plenty of other stuff as well. Pete is just machining up some door lining outside. Hi Pete. Hello. And Joe. Hi Joe. Hello. Is just getting the finishing touches done to the skirting. He's just finished his architrave and skirting. So if you can remember from an earlier video that we did in the kitchen, we dabbed this wall here with Habito plasterboard. So it's a product from British Gypsum, which basically means you can screw straight into it. So all of the brackets here for these wall units, we've literally just screwed straight into the plasterboard. There's no additional fixings required. The weight that these can hold is incredible. I believe it's 30 kilos per screw. So obviously per unit there, you've got 4 screws. We're going to put an additional one in as well at the bottom, so we've got a lot of weight that can actually hold in there. They are good. It's a little bit daunting just literally fixing straight into the plasterboard, because obviously it goes against everything you've ever learned, but it's a fantastic product and we really like it. I think you should use it too. So yeah, they're all in now. We're just getting the units ready and then we're going to get them hung on the wall. We've got our worktop here fitted nicely. So this is just oak block board. Really nice stuff. Once it's all sanded down and oiled up, this will be brilliant. Right, so I'm currently working now on the breakfast bar, which is going to sit across here. So it's going to be slightly lower than this worktop here. It's going to sit around about this point, and it will stretch from the inside of that wall there, just there, right the way across to just about here, basically. And we're going to do the same as we've done with this worktop. So there's just going to be a butt joint here. So basically this upstand, the worktop will just sit on top of it, and there'll just be biscuits in here and lots of glue holding this all together. There is going to be an additional frame which is going to sit underneath it, which will hold some cladding, which is this. So it's some tongue and groove board which is going to sit on the back of that, and it's painted the same colour as the units as well, so it's going to look really nice. And then yeah, this will basically just sit over the top of that, those underneath, and there'll be some smaller sections of that tongue and groove board that will just run right the way across there, just to marry it all in nicely. So I've just got everything marked up now. I'm going to use the biscuit jointer to get these biscuits in. Just one thing I need to say about this biscuit jointer. If you notice, it's Makita. And guess whose it is? It's Pete's. So Pete doesn't love DeWalt solely, does he? He's cheating. He's got a Makita. So just so you know. Hi Pete. Yeah, so I'm going to use the biscuit jointer now. Get all these cut up, get it dry fitted, make sure it's all good. And then I'll do the same that side. And then we can get it glued up, get it all clamped in place to make sure it's all nice and square. And then we'll go from there. Alright, now they're all done. I can now repeat the process in here. We're actually going to do this on the top. So imagine this is this section here. I'm going to go through like this. So then obviously we've got a 90-degree angle like that even, for our biscuits to sit in. Right, now that's all done, I'm gonna get the biscuits in and just get it dry fitted, and we can just make sure that it all fits together nicely. The lower worktop area, which is going to sit across here, is now ready. You can see I've got everything clamped in place. We've squared all this up, so obviously everything's at 90 degrees. And then while the glue is going off, just put these clamps in. Because obviously we don't want to screw directly into this. So that will just sit there now until tomorrow morning, and then we can flip it over and basically push it into place. Next up is the worktops over here. They are from a company called Maya. They're a really good composite worktop, which we're going to show you exactly how we installed them. Never done it before, but they do seem like a really good product. Nice and easy to work with, easy to join, easy to disguise the joint, which is a massive bonus in my book. So the worktop has had time to go off, and we're nice and solid. I've taken the clamps off, like you can see. Everything's still nice and square, which is good. So now we're going to get this flipped over, get this in place, and then we're going to start on the worktops over here. So we're not going to be doing a standard hockey stick joint on this, because obviously the angle that we've got, it's not a 90-degree angle. So we're literally going to be mitering from this point here straight into the corner there. So what I'm going to do is basically just chip a little bit of the plaster away, get it set in, and then we can get everything marked up nicely, get this side cut, then get this one cut. This has already got the cutout in for the sink, but we are going to need to remove some of this carcass here just so it fits in, because it's quite a large sink, and some of this post as well is going to have to just be nicely carved out, just so it houses it in there perfectly, and then we can get that cut as well. These units will be sitting tight up against here, but we're just leaving it away for a little bit just so we can get this worktop in, because obviously the angle is just a bit awkward, so it makes life a bit easier. We can obviously bring it flush to the edge of this unit, and then once that's installed we can then slide this across. So yeah, I'll show you the process how we do that, but first of all we're going to turn this bad boy over. So this is what it looks like. It looks pretty good if you ask me. What we're going to have is those little panels, these ones here. So these are going to sit like so behind it all the way across, and then there's going to be a long piece which runs down there, and then underneath will be the same as well. It'll run right down to the floor, so that will finish that all off nicely, and obviously back off the cupboards as well at the back of the unit, so you can't see anything there that will mask that. Right, so we've got our worktops cut. We're doing a mitre joint across. Because of the angle of the kitchen, we need to make sure that it works well. We couldn't do a standard Meisson's hockey joint, so we've basically got to do it like this. It's fully supported underneath, so there's going to be no issues with any movement. It's going to be clamped and glued as well. But with this stuff in particular, there's an extra precaution that we take. We basically use a biscuit jointing bit on our router, and we route a small channel just underneath here, just underneath the resin, and then into that channel goes this. So this is effectively just some more of the countertop resin, and that will sit in the channel in there, like that, with the glue, and then when you slot the next piece up to it, again there's glue in the groove of the other worktop, and that holds everything nicely in place, and then obviously you use your clamps underneath as you would normally, holds everything in nice and tight, and then you can actually, with this stuff, you can actually sand it down with an orbital sander to get that joint absolutely crisp and perfect. So I'm gonna get that done now, and then we can flip it over, do the clamps, and then we can get it in place. Okay, so we've got the groove, and now you can see the piece that I'm on about actually just slots straight in there. There's a tiny little bit of movement to allow for the glue as well, so that is absolutely perfect. So we get two little pieces in here, ready for clamping up. Right, next up we're going to get our clamps in. I'm going to get these routed into the worktop, and it wouldn't be right if I didn't give kudos and praise to Pete, because yet again he's made a jig. We love a Pete jig, don't we? So basically this will sit on here like so, and then I can use my router to basically run around this here, around the jig, and then basically our bolts will sit in there like so. Yeah, obviously this other half will be for the other half of the worktop. We'll sit that in there, and then we can just basically tighten that up, and it will clamp everything together. Cheers, Pete.
So there you go guys, in our next episode it will be the final episode of the single story extension, and you will see what it all looks like after we've finished. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you next time.